Kamala Harris seems to still be set on running for president again someday. The New York Times did a very, very splashy profile of her. Let's put up D2 on the screen, actually. All kinds of interesting stuff in this profile, but her profile recently in The Atlantic caused some trouble. We're going to talk about that in a bit. First, in this New York Times piece, Kamala Harris seems to be pretty eager to run again. She made all kinds of news for a particular quote where she told Shane Goldmacher, I understand the focus on 2028 and all of that, but there will be a marble bust of me in Congress. I am a historic figure like any vice president of the United States ever was. Goldmacher followed Harris around to different book tour stops and really does does her some favors in this piece by making it sound as though everywhere she went, everyone was clamoring to see Kamala Harris. Young black women in particular, Goldmacher reports, were delighted to see Kamala Harris, are big fans of Kamala Harris. I'm just skeptical that that's any significant portion of the country in terms of the numbers, but she's getting into trouble. Her profile with The Atlantic, the Josh Shapiro profile in The Atlantic saw him responding to something in her book, 107 Days, which I might have to eat crow on because I was like, this book's not going to sell anything. Compared to what books used to sell.
Both were wrong about that.
Now, compared to what books used to sell, it didn't sell that many, but 600,000 copies, according to the Times profile, makes it like the best-selling memoir of the year. Some of that could be big corporations having Kamala come speak and buying books, but it's still a big number.
It's a lot of books.
Yeah, maybe people are clamoring for Kamala Harris, Ryan, and we were wrong the whole time. Let's play this clip, though, of Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, responding, a little fun 2028 preview here, to Simone Sanders of NMS and NMS Now. I need to correct myself here. Asking him if he really called some of Harris's claims bullshit.
Here's a quote, and you are describing former Vice President Kamala Harris here. It says, I mean, she's trying to sell books and cover her ass. Sorry, Sanders. Shapiro snapped, I shouldn't say cover her. Word I shouldn't say on Standards. I think that's not appropriate, Shapiro said. His tone was suddenly collected. She's trying to sell books, period. What were you trying to signal in that moment, sir? You want to parse this out for us?
No, there's no parsing. Look, I stand by what I said. I think the way in which the author described my emotion, frankly, was not accurate, but the words are mine, and I stand by them. I think what was relayed to me by that author that the vice president had written about me just simply wasn't true. And, I think the vice president and I had and continue to have very candid conversations. And I think the way in which it was articulated to me, what was said was certainly not accurate.
Shapiro owns it. What do you think, Ryan?
It was pretty funny. So, yeah, I mean, he's like, look, I said what I said.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she was doing a little CYA. Like, I don't think anybody is going to disagree with that.
No.
On the point of Kamala Harris being a historical figure, I'm just looking up some of the other historical figures that she'll join.
I see Wikipedia up on your laptop.
Do you watch Miracle on 34th Street every year?
Not every year, no.
I just learned something right now. One of the iconic scenes in Miracle on 34th Street turns out to be incorrect.
Okay.
When Santa is doing the wellness check, like the cognitive test that Donald Trump, famously aced. Mm-hmm. Remember, they're giving him this psychiatric evaluation, and they ask him who is the vice president under John Quincy Adams, because they're trying to get him to fail. And he says, Daniel D. Tompkins. It's one of this classic scene. Turns out that's not true. I just realized that right now.
Just now?
Which I should have known, because Quincy Adams is Calhoun, was his vice president. It looks like what happened is this is before Google and Wikipedia. And so the Miracle on 34th Street writers said, who was the sixth vice president? And the sixth vice president was Daniel D. Tompkins. Sixth president was Quincy Adams.
Sure.
So they were like, oh, they must have been together.
They put it in ChatGPT.
They didn't have a book on hand that they could look for. They just had a chart or something of who this, or maybe they just sat around and it was, who knows the sixth? And
or maybe
anyway,
it's a deep joke for people like you.
Maybe it is a deep joke. Wow. That That is wild. It might be. There's a little Easter egg in Miracle on 34th Street.
Ryan Grimm just discovered this.
And maybe this is a widely known thing among Miracle on 34th Street heads. But anyway, so Daniel D. Tompkins, Martin Van Buren, he became president. Richard Mentor Johnson, vice president. George Dallas.
Okay.
Millard Fillmore.
Oh, he's a classic.
Billy King. John Breckinridge. Hannibal Hamlin.
This is fun.
Abraham Lincoln's vice president. Schuyler Colfax also has a bust in the Capitol, so, as does Henry Wilson. William Wheeler, Rutherford B. Hayes' vice president.
There you go, Kamala Harris. What more could you ask?
Chester Arthur Garfield, he became president.
Are you watching the new James Garfield series on Netflix? It's fantastic.
I didn't even know there was one. I'm very excited for that.
Yes, you'll love it.
Garrett Hobart.
These are the esteemed ranks of men Kamala Harris will join with her bust in the Capitol.
Maybe she'll be right next to Garrett Hobart.
She might. And that, again, what more could you ask for?
Or maybe Chuck Fairbanks.
Maybe Chuck Fairbanks.
Jim Sherman.
So do you...
Tom Marshall. I know a lot of history. Like half these people, I'm like... Wikipedia could be totally lying to me.
It seems so yeah, that's true. We could have just done a lot of fake news.
Charles Dawes.
It seems so obvious that nobody...
That was Calvin Coolidge's vice president, for those who are not up on there.
It's like what we're going to be saying about that was Joe Biden's vice president. 200 years from now, someone's going to be explaining that to someone. Kamala Harris, that was Joe Biden's vice president.
And they'll still be failing to pronounce it accurately.
Yes. But Josh Shapiro, love him or hate him, feels a lot more like the future of the Democratic Party than Kamala Harris does.
And also the past, which is also impressive.
Because he's Obama-esque.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Same cadence.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show, ad-free, and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.